guys, so I think I'm gonna have you here today for a good time, not a long time, because I just want to demo the newest Makeup by Mario products that launched. So that would be the new Surrealskin Soft Blur Setting Powder, and I also have the Surrealskin Soft Setting Spray. And I wasn't sure if I wanted to do a whole dedicated video on these, but I played with these off camera because I wanted to compare this to the original Givenchy formula, and I was so floored by the results that I was like, I need to do a whole dedicated video for you on this. So you can tell we are starting off on a really positive note. I'm going to do a little bit of a wear test today as well because I haven't worn this for an extended period of time. So we're going to see how it keeps my oils at bay. I specifically chose products that were a little bit glowier, that don't do a good job of smoothing because they're glowy, and so that way we can see if the powder minimizes the pores and if it helps with the wear time. So I'll have everything linked as far as base and everything else that I'm wearing down below in the description box. But the main call outs, why I chose what I chose hydrating primers. Embryolisse, this is a hydrating, it's more like a moisturizer, it's amazing. And then my Biore Aqua Rich SPF. I made sure to pick the Glossier Stretch Fluid Foundation. I'm really familiar with how this wears, but at base it has like a very skin-like natural finish. It doesn't blur or anything, so that's why I like to pair this foundation with blurring powders to get the best look of skin, because I love that foundation, but I need something more blurring with it. House Labs, it's a good full coverage concealer, but it has more of a glowy finish, so we have that on the under eyes. And then for bronzer and blush, Liquid Products. So the Say Do Bronze is a gel, so sometimes gel can emphasize fine lines. And then I have the Armani Luminous Silk, which I haven't talked amazing about these, but I tried a new color recently, 62. This is a little bit more pigmented. It's a really natural flush. I really like this color. So that's the base that we're working with today. Let's get into it. So the Makeup by Mario Surrealskin Talc-Free Soft Blur Setting Powder is set to launch on Sephora September 1st, which, by the way, all of this was very kindly gifted to me from Makeup by Mario. I've never gotten new releases from them before, so I'm really excited about this. There are 7 shades, which is really good for a powder. Normally there's like 3 or 4, like a light, medium, deep. Looks like we have a lot of different, like a fair pink. I'm going to be using neutral light today. They have medium dark honey, neutral medium deep. I mean, Makeup by Mario, he's been a celebrity makeup artist for so many years. I feel like, he knows what he's doing. You can see it in his products. So they say that this loose powder sets makeup up to 12 hours, blurs and smooths the complexion with a natural finish and all-day shine control. There's squalane in this, which is supposed to nourish the skin, which is interesting for a powder. Let's just get it on. So I have 3 shades that they sent me. Warm Honey, my mother, if you're watching this, all you girl, you might even be able to make neutral peach work for you. Maybe not, I don't know. But for me, light neutral is gonna be my friend number 2. It's really simple packaging in line with the rest of the Makeup by Mario line. If I'm being honest, it doesn't feel that luxe. This powder is $38. I wish it felt a little bit nicer, but whatever. Powder is made in the USA. It does have a sifter. Come on in, let's put this on. So here is what we are working with before. I'm just blending out my concealer. On this side, I'm going to use a puff. I'm using one of my puffs. Makeup by Mario also has a puff. If you're interested, you can get them from Amazon. I have a little bit in the cap here, so I'm just going to press the product onto my sponge. And then I'm going to get the excess off on the back of my hand, so it should be a pretty thin layer. And we are going to go in. Now, with a lot of powders, I noticed that it will almost darken my under eye area. And you can see that this lays down a little bit of pigment and coverage. So it doesn't darken anything, but there is a little bit of coverage to this powder. It's not truly translucent. Right here, I'm pretty porous. So see the difference? That is doing a nice job of blurring the pores with whatever's left. Now, where it's unblended, it has remained a little bit bright. I'm gonna really try and work that in and push it in. Let's get the forehead as well. I mean, guys, this is a heavy duty powder. It did a really great job of setting my under eyes. They look pretty airbrushed. It does a great job of blurring. It doesn't make the pores disappear, but I would definitely say that this is a blurring powder. There's really no glow to it at all, and it leaves a little bit of coverage behind, so it is important what shade you end up with, because I don't know if you can see, but it has made some of my freckles disappear, or at least less visible. But yeah, this is doing everything that it says it's going to do. It blurs, it smooths. It's not necessarily a natural finish. It's mattifying, but it's not like dry mattifying. I'm gonna, on the other side of my face, they did give a brush. So we're gonna see what kind of blurring we can get with a brush. Normally a sponge, like how I applied, is what gives the most blur. It's how I like to do it. But anyways, I'm gonna use the smaller side and just lightly press a little bit of powder on the under eyes. In my opinion, it is not as blurring with a lighter layer, but that's okay because you have the ability to simply set in case you don't want it super mattified. I know more mature skin, you guys prefer a lighter set most of the time. This is how it's gonna look if you use a brush. So you'll see for my pores, it definitely blurred them, it minimized them, less to the extent of the other side. But I like that you have the versatility to do something lighter. Nonetheless, like without pressing in with a powder, it's still blurred and it's set, and it does look like it has more of a natural finish. So for the sake of me and how I like to do it, I'm just gonna push in another layer here, but I do want to see how the two sides of wear do, so we'll leave it at this. Now you're probably wondering how this compares to some popular powders. I have not yet compared it to Huda Beauty, but I did do a TikTok versus the original Givenchy formulation. Essentially, the Makeup by Mario is more heavy duty, it's more hefty, it's more thick. The Givenchy is super duper thin and light, which I think is what a lot of people like about it. I think they both do amazing things for the skin, but I don't think they're dupes of one another. This is just so much lighter. This is the original formula, by the way, but they're both really blurring. And honestly, in my TikTok, the Makeup by Mario looked more flattering. So I'm gonna let that TikTok do the talking. There's been a tragedy in the makeup community, but I've heard there may already be a dupe for it. Let's find out. If you didn't hear, Givenchy reformulated their most viral popular powder ever, and it is simply not the same. It's supposed to be really shiny and not near as blurring as it was before. In fact, it's supposed to emphasize the things that it once blurred. Makeup by Mario just launched a new setting powder, so I thought we'd try it side by side. Here we go. I feel like it's even more brightening. It gives a little bit more coverage. Dare I say, it made my skin look even better by adding just a little bit more coverage with the powder. The Givenchy definitely has a lighter, more natural feel to it. It'll keep the integrity of your base. Makeup by Mario has a little bit more heft, a little bit more coverage, but both are quite blurring. Let me know what you think. Oh, and Makeup by Mario also is launching a new setting spray. I'm a mist snob. Very good mist. I am really liking the Mario so far. Am I crazy, or did the Makeup by Mario just look better than the Givenchy? And I love the Givenchy powder, but they are different. I wouldn't say that they're dupes. This is just so much more lightweight. But this is a good powder, you guys. For it to literally look better than the Givenchy, that is a very, very, very big deal, which is why I turned on the camera today to do a video just on this. This is gonna be a good one. Now, the powder was the more exciting part for me, but they are going to launch something else new as well. The Surrealskin 16-hour soft setting spray. This is a $34 setting spray. Now, this is an alcohol-free, fragrance-free, butane-free, okay, ultra-fine hydrating mist to set makeup for up to 16-hour wear for a natural finish and barely there feel. So this is one of those products where it's gonna take multiple wears for me to really tell you if this helps makeup, because it claims to do everything. It claims to hydrate and make makeup look more perfected, but it also claims to make makeup wear longer. So I'm just gonna take a swatch of Dark Horse from Urban Decay. I'm gonna do 2 swatches. And I'm going to spray, I'm going to do this on my table, but I'm going to spray my wrist to see if once that dries down, if it makes it last longer. And while that's settling in, I'm going to spray my face. Now this has a really nice mist, you guys. It's very fine. There is a slight fragrance to it. It's not really pleasant, if I'm being honest. I don't think it's intentional fragrance. It might just be the ingredients. But they said 100% of people who use this said their makeup looked more perfected after using this. So, I think I've sprayed enough to do that justice. Give that a second to dry. I personally do believe in the power and magic of a setting spray. So let's see. Because this is a pricey one, and there are some good ones from the drugstore. I don't know that this made my skin feel more hydrated. I feel like my skin has a little bit more of an unset feel in terms of it like being a little sticky, because I did put some product liquid on there. Does my makeup look more perfected? I don't know, but it looks more skin-like. I don't know if this is going to make makeup last longer. Interesting. I need to use this guy more. I want to get some on my forehead, actually. The first time I sprayed this on this morning, I really liked the way that it made my makeup look. I felt like the powder settled in. My makeup does look good post this too. Now, obviously it didn't change anything about the way my makeup looks crazy, but sometimes you just need that final mist, and I'm liking that. So where I sprayed it on my hand around the area where the spray has touched, it does feel a little bit, you can see, not sticky, but moist still. I'm gonna give that a couple more minutes to dry down. Okay, let's see if this made the eyeshadow last longer. So here is the unset one and how it blends out. Here is the set one. That helped. That definitely stayed better. So it looks like this is going to help out with some longevity. Let me finish up my makeup and I'll show you the final look. And my makeup is done for the day. I, of course, will have everything linked down below, but my skin looks phenomenal. I am really loving this powder. And have you noticed there has been so many setting powders launching recently, lots of pressed, but in general, I have received and seen and purchased so many different setting powders. It's just that group. It always happens in like a group, and right now it's setting powders. But anyways, Makeup by Mario did their thing. This is a high quality powder from what I can tell so far, and it's going to end up being one that I use a lot because I am picky when it comes to powder. I rotate between the same 3. But I love how this almost fills in right here because of its thickness and the body that it has. I like that it color corrects a little bit. So good. Now the setting spray, there's a lot of setting sprays out there on the market. I don't know that you're gonna need this, but overall, I decided to do a whole video on these powders because I was so impressed with my first impression that I was like, this is video worthy. So that's my PSA about these powders. I'm loving them. I'm going to show you how this looks at the end of the day. Hopefully it continues to look amazing and this ends up being a favorite powder of mine. I just don't see it going any other way. I just wanted to come up with a quick little wear test update. I mean, it hasn't been like a full 8 hours or anything, but as you can see, it's really holding up my makeup well. When it comes to powders, it's just not as fun doing a wear test with. That's why I'm just doing a quick little one, but yeah, it stayed blurred, it stays smooth, because sometimes I notice with powders, they might look really blurring at first, but then the blurring goes away really fast. This one has stayed blurring more so on the side where I use the powder puff. It definitely is more long lasting. If you take a look at this side where I just did a lighter dusting, there is a little bit more creasing happening. It looks a little bit more natural in terms of my natural oils coming through. Versus this side, it's a lot closer to how I applied it, but of course it is a lot more powder. So that's just something to know. If you press it in with a powder puff, it will last longer, but it is a heavier level of powder to begin with. But even the side that I just did the light dusting, like, it still looks really nice, and you can always go in and blend here. Point being, I'm very much into this powder. I can't speak on the setting spray just yet. It does seem like it will end up making makeup last longer. But as I said in the beginning, it is this powder that is the star of the show. If you like a blurring setting powder, I am really into this. And I think the big thing for me is, when I use a powder puff, it really fills in this area here that caves in a little bit and creates darkness. So if you have that issue, this one is a good one because it has some thickness, some body to it to kind of fill it in. So I think that's what also makes it quite special. So I hope you guys found this review helpful. Wanted to share this little tidbit of information of products that I've been enjoying. Even though I just discovered them, I know it's going to be a good time. If you've tried this powder, let me know down below what you think of it, though it is launching very, very soon if it's not already launched yet. And make sure you like this video and subscribe to my channel for more reviews. And I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye guys, have a good one.